So what if I told you there was this ancient African empire? One that was so powerful it actually rivaled Rome, controlled a massive chunk of global trade, and was seen as one of the great superpowers of its time. And what if I told you that most of us have never even heard of it? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the incredible, and kind of lost, kingdom of Aksum.
And look, that's not just me hyping it up. Way back in the 3rd century, a super influential Persian prophet named Mani, who actually founded his own religion, straight up listed Aksum as one of the world's 4 great powers. This wasn't some backwater kingdom, it was a certified global heavyweight. Which, leads to the big question. Who were these people, the Axumites? What made them so powerful? And honestly, why has their amazing story been almost completely forgotten by history? Let's dive in and find out. Okay, so to really get Aksum, we've got to start at the beginning. We need to look at the key ingredients that fueled its absolutely meteoric rise. It was kind of like the perfect storm of geography, resources, and just pure ambition. Aksum didn't just pop up out of nowhere, right? It grew out of these earlier local powers, like the Kingdom of Dimt. But then, by the 1st century, boom, it explodes onto the scene, pulls together the Ethiopian highlands, and immediately starts looking outwards, projecting its power across the Red Sea right into Arabia. If you want to know the secret to Aksum's power, it really comes down to one word: location. I mean, they had the ultimate piece of real estate. They sat right on the choke point for all the sea trade between the Roman Empire and India. If you wanted to ship goods between the East and the West, you pretty much had to go through them. And they definitely knew how to capitalize on it. And what kind of stuff was flowing through this global hub? We're talking about the most sought-after luxury goods of the day. The ivory for a Roman senator's fancy chair, the gold in his wife's jewelry, the spices on his dinner table. A ton of that passed through Aksum's ports. It was like a fire hose of wealth, and it made the kingdom incredibly rich. So all of that money, it fueled this golden age of culture and technology. See, Aksum wasn't just wealthy, it became this amazing center of civilization that pulled off a whole series of incredible firsts.
This wealth really did spark some incredible innovation. Let's just take a look at a few achievements that truly set Aksum apart from the rest.
First up, they developed their very own, totally unique writing system called Ge'ez. Now, this wasn't a copy of some Roman or Persian script. Nope, this was a distinctly African invention. It was a true symbol of their cultural independence. And what's wild is that it's still used as the liturgical language of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church today. Second, they made their own money. In the ancient world, minting your own coins was the ultimate power move. It was like putting up a giant billboard for the whole world to see, saying, hey, we're on the same level as Rome and Persia. And these coins traveled all over, showing up in places as far away as India, acting like these tiny little ambassadors for Aksum's economic might. And this is so cool because it perfectly shows one of the biggest turning points in Aksum's entire history. So under a ruler named King Ezana in the 4th century, Aksum adopted Christianity as its state religion. We can actually see this history stamped right into the metal. Ezana's early coins have these older, pre-Christian symbols. But after he converts, bam, he becomes one of the very first rulers anywhere in the world to put the Christian cross on his money. At its absolute peak in the 6th century, the empire was just enormous. We are talking 2.5 million square kilometers. That's land covering parts of modern-day Ethiopia, Sudan, and even Yemen. To give you some perspective, that's roughly the size of the entire eastern half of the United States. This kingdom was a true colossus. But you know how it goes. Like all great empires, Aksum's golden age couldn't last forever. So what happened? How did a state this powerful eventually crumble? Well, Aksum didn't fall because of one single thing. It was more like death by 1,000 cuts. First, their whole economic lifeline got severed when the Persian and later the Islamic empires shifted global trade routes to the north. Suddenly, Aksum was isolated. At the same time, centuries of farming started to take a toll, leading to environmental problems that weakened their food supply. The final blow, at least according to legend, came from a warrior queen named Gudet, who supposedly just swept through the kingdom, burning and destroying everything and shattering what was left of the empire. But the story doesn't just end in fire and ruin. I mean, the empire fell, sure, but the culture of Aksum, it turned out to be incredibly tough. Its legacy is still very much alive and well today. And this is the really key takeaway here. Aksum wasn't erased, it transformed. The political empire was gone, but its culture became the bedrock, the foundation for all the great Ethiopian civilizations that came after it, shaping that entire region for the next 1,000 years. You can literally see echoes of Aksum everywhere in Ethiopia today. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church? It's a direct descendant of the faith King Ezana adopted all those centuries ago. The Giz script is still a huge part of its religious life. Those incredible rock-hewn churches at Lalibela show clear signs of Aksumite building styles. And for centuries, Ethiopian emperors based their right to rule on the claim that they were directly descended from the kings of Aksum.
The story of Aksum is just such a powerful reminder that the version of history most of us learn is, well, it's often missing a few chapters. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other great powers have just been forgotten over time? And what other lost stories are still out there just waiting for us to rediscover them?